on dynamic HTML content through the DITA Open Toolkit. My name is Simon Bate, and I'll be the presenter today. So, just a little bit about me. I'm a senior technical consultant with Scriptorium. I'm also a certified technical trainer. I teach a large number of the Scriptorium classes. I've had about 30 years of experience in the publications industry. I like to say I was a writer for 10 years, a manager for 10 years, and then a toolsmith for 10 years. But actually, that whole time I've been always interested in the tools that we use and to help write and modify existing tools to help writers do their jobs better. I've been working in JavaScript, which we're going to see a bunch of today, for about 8 years, and I've been doing XSL seriously for about the past 5 years. I also teach the Scriptorium class on XSL. So, a bit of an overview of what we're going to do today. We'll just take a look at a problem we were trying to solve, and we thought the solution was interesting enough that it might be worth sharing with people. We will take a look at the solution, just as a sort of an overview of what we do, and then I'm going to talk a bit about some JavaScript background we need for this solution. And then I'll talk about the individual aspects of what we did. And so we're replacing inline text, we're displaying background images, and we're hiding and showing blocks of text. I'm also going to talk a little bit about inline images. As it turns out, the project that we didn't call much for inline images, but I thought it'd be worthwhile to discuss here how we might handle them if that case were to arise. We should be done in about 40 to 45 minutes, and then there will be a little bit of time we can use the chat window, or we can answer some questions then. So, here's the basic problem we were trying to solve. We had a customer who came to us and said that they needed to create some help sets, and or they needed to create some help in HTML, and they needed to burn that help into ROM, and they had some limited space for the help, so help couldn't expand endlessly. Now, the real twist was they had a family of products essentially, and for each of the products, they wanted the help to reflect the correct device names, the correct images, all the correct things about each specific device in this family. So when a customer was viewing the help, they had a nice warm fuzzy feeling that they were actually seeing help that was specific to their product. Another twist was that the customer had a number, the device was going to be shipped out to a number of different OEMs. And so when the customer viewed the help, we also wanted to make sure that the OEM information was reported accurately. So there was some OEM contact information. We needed to make sure that those phone numbers, email addresses, and everything were correct. So as you can see, one way of approaching this would just to have to create a single help set for each product, and then multiply that, create a single help set for each product for each OEM. And you can see how the problem starts to multiply quite rapidly. Now we had an additional twist in here, and that was we were localizing to more than 10 languages. So this actually turned out to be something we just had, with localized help, you just have to have, it has to happen. You have to have an individual help set for each language. There's no help from dynamic text that would allow you to get around that kind of a situation. But one of the things with the languages was, for the most part, with each languages, we were associated to, each language was associated with a separate OEM, so there was some interconnection there. So, as you see, we were able to generate one set of help files per language, and then using the query string arguments, the customer was able to select or display the help for each product, for each OEM. And so down at the bottom of the screen, you may or may not be able to see this, but here we have two different screenshots in two different circumstances. We have one in English, and we have one cover image and a particular product name. And here we have in Czech, we have a different image and a different product name. Our solution to this was to have dynamic HTML content. The basic idea here is you have a single set of HTML files and then a file, a JSON file, that contains all of the replaceable information. Replaceable information could include text, it could also include paths to images, and so on. And so the browser, in displaying the help, then inserts or replaces or sets the display attribute correctly on the piece of information so that it is displayed for the current device, for the current OEM. Now, the DITA files then had to be coded so that they could indicate where the dynamic text was. And so we had to have specific DITA encodings for the pieces of replaceable text, the images, and blocks to hide and show. And as I say, we use JSON files for storing that information, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so the total summation of this is that as the help page is displayed in the browser, JavaScript was invoked, made the right decisions, and pulled in the correct piece of information and displayed it in the HTML. So a bit about JSON files, if you haven't heard about JSON before. JSON stands for the JavaScript Object Notation, and it is a way of storing information that could be in arrays or associative arrays in a human-readable form. And this is a really nice advantage because you can go into the JSON files and see quickly what it is you're storing, what your keys are for your associative arrays, what the values are, and so on. And as the slide says here, you can have name-value pairs, so it can be like an associative array, or you can just define a set of ordered lists. So that's more like a traditional JavaScript array. And if you want to find out more, I'm not going to spend a great deal of time talking about JSON. I'm going to demonstrate it in just a minute to show you what the file looked like. But you can find out a lot more about JSON by going to http://json.org. And JSON works very well in JavaScript, but there are also many, many parsers written for it in many, many other languages. So it's also a nice form for data exchange. So the basic appearance of the JSON file is, if you're familiar with JavaScript and static arrays, then you might actually recognize the syntax, and that's really all that it is. So within the JSON file, you define a variable, and you assign to that variable, use the curly brace syntax to assign an associative array. And so here we have a key. In this case, the key is named cakes. And this key then is associated with a second array because we have another curly brace here. So this secondary array actually has a series of keys. So as you can see, this is a two-dimensional array. So from devs, I can indicate the key for the primary set. I can just say either cakes or cookies, and then I could then the next index would then indicate an image. So here we have an actual the file name of an image. We can have a table. In this case, it's the name of a table we're going to be displaying. And then in this case here, we have text for OEM A and OEM B. And actually what this is if we're indexing using cakes, then for OEM A, then the name of this product or the name of the company is Let Them Eat Cake. And for the second OEM, we have the name Take the Cake. So similarly, you can see for cookies, we have a different